Hello there, everybody, and welcome to SuperJump 2's Day 2. My name is Kbot, and I've got the pleasure of kicking off the action today with the lovely Rissa. Rissa, it is very early in the morning for you. How are you doing?
I'm actually doing good. I woke up like 2 hours ahead of time, even though that's still even earlier than what it is now. I was like, okay, I gotta commentate Major online of Splatoon. I need to get myself up and hyped, so I'm actually doing pretty good for it being early in the morning.
That is good to hear because we have got so much action coming our way in this top 32 bracket. You know, Rissa, there was a tournament a few weeks ago or a month ago, however long ago it was. You called it the Avengers of Splatoon. If that was the Avengers of Splatoon, this is where the entire MCU of Splatoon is coming together. There are so many stacked teams throughout the entirety of this top 32 bracket. It's double elimination. It's going to be chaotic. There is so much potential for upsets, and I am really looking forward to it.
You are actually so right thinking about how I did say that. I love that you remembered that I said that, by the way. This is like we're going into Avengers Endgame right now. Like, we're coming in hot. We literally have all the best teams, JP, Europe, and in NA. Like, it's just all over the board. And we're starting out, speaking of good teams, we're starting out hot right now with the first game that we get to watch on stream. Britain Deluxe Edition, or Dulux, sorry, versus, how do you pronounce that, Kbot? I don't want to mispronounce it.
I want to say HaarigeHinterländler. It's German.
Yeah.
I got that right, folks. Talk speed up the other day. I said it was a British team. That's not true. It's a German team. German language there. But yeah, I mean, I think this match is going to be really interesting. Of course, we're seeing a European matchup to start things off. Lux coming in to sub in for this roster here. But nonetheless, I mean, this is going to be a really exciting one to pull forward. Of course, Hinterländler has been making a name for themselves in the European scene, certainly, especially with both of their rosters finishing top 2 in the Arcadia LAN. I believe that was last week or a week or like 2 weeks ago or something like that. And then, of course, Britain Deluxe Edition. A lot of these players you're very familiar with. Some of them on Chewits Mafia. Some of them are coming in to play in this tournament without kind of having a home right now in the kind of pickup-centric culture that we're experiencing. But nonetheless, this one is going to be an incredibly entertaining match. I actually think that Britain Deluxe Edition, you're seeing a few of the members of Arctic Moon, or I think it'll be similar in how they're playing. So we imagine we'll probably end up seeing Spore on an Ink Brush. But with Lux and Cooldude, there's going to be a lot of flexibility as they rotate through these Splatlings, so be sure to watch out for that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Since both of those players do main Nautilus Splatlings eccentrically. So we're starting out first game of the day here on stream, SuperJump 2. We are starting out looking at these weapons on the side of Hinterländler. We get to see Storm on that classic ballpoint, and then on the other side get to see Lux on their classic Explo. So starting out with some comfort picks. Let's see what happens here as this game gets going.
Already, though, Britain's going to go 2 down here, make it a 3-down situation as Hinterländler's going to start to push up, and it'll be interesting to see just how much further forward they can get. But Spore's already coming in and getting a triple back the other direction, is going to be able to stall out the momentum on this map so far and try to see if Britain can regain their footing here, as now we see Cooldude pop this ink armor, forcing these yellow members even further back, but unfortunately doesn't have the follow-up from the rest of the team here, so is going to get traded back and forth as we're getting the game settling into a little bit more of a neutral state.
Yeah, Cooldude there on that end zap was able to stall it out quite a bit there for their teammates to be able to come in. We see Lux here paired with, I believe that's Spore, able to come in and at least stall out the zone, and that works out amazingly because 2 are down right now from Hinterländler, and now essentially 3 down. The zone is on the side of Britain, and they have no penalty. They are so close to swapping the lead right now.
And here's the Ink Brush play. Spore is just going to be in your face and annoying this entire time. Obviously, there are multiple ways to try to deal with the brush to get this out of here, but it's just going to continue swimming around you. It's going to make sure your presence, or its presence, is known, and it's going to be something that Hinterländler is going to have to find an answer for to try to clear out. It looks like they're trying to go around the brush right now, trying to get some more ink on the zone closest to them, and they're starting to do that a little bit here, but of course Spore still locking down this side of the map right now, is able to pick up yet another one here, and it's a 3-down situation for Hinterländler. They weren't able to cap the zone, and all of a sudden, things are looking dire for them in this game 1.
Yeah, the points are down to 20 right now for Britain, and right now Hinterländler really has to figure out how to stall the zone. There's still 3 minutes left of this match. There's 2 members down though with Hinterländler with only 10 points remaining here. Cool Dude, the NZAP is in the zone, just painting. They know, just paint the zone. We're gonna be able to get capped. And just like that, from 100 to 0, Britain Dulux Edition takes this game 1.
Yeah, they're able to take this game 1, and for the record, folks, like, even though Britain Deluxe Edition had to come through redemption, they played incredibly strong yesterday, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to see how they were going to play today. Yesterday, I think they were able to force Ice Cube to a game 3. And then that game that they were going back and forth was incredibly close. So I think this team especially is a team to watch out for that not a lot of people are going to have their eyes on starting off this tournament, which is why I'm really excited to see them now. And you see exactly why they are just so tight on managing where these players from Hinterländler are coming in from. Any kind of coordination that Hinterländler is trying to get together is basically the only option they have. They're forced to go around that side, down that ramp, as opposed to trying to cross over a bridge, because Spore is blocking off half the map, and you do not want to run headfirst into that brush.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Just thinking about how Spore was just guarding the Hinterländer's right street area and not even necessarily trying to get kills or anything, just being a nuisance over there, being a distraction, running around. And that's one of those things where, okay, if there's an ink brush that's acting as a distraction like that, playing that good, we really have to figure out how we want to approach this, because Britain Deluxe Edition recognized that Spore was able to do that, and then they were able to play off of that so well.
Yeah, and we're starting to see some of our stats come in. You'll be able to enjoy this screen a lot of the day today. And you can see just some of the things we're looking at here. Of course, Britain Deluxe Edition able to take that game, able to hold his own for the vast majority of this game. But nonetheless, I mean, we're seeing a lot of KDAs, especially Spore, pretty high with that KDA. You'd expect a brush maybe to have a lower KDA just because they're getting more trays. It'll be closer to 1. When in fact, Spore actually putting in quite a bit of work, a lot of triple kills and things like that in order to keep this game rolling forward.
Yeah, and then also we can see that Takimi here, leading that KA per minute on that Kensa 52. We didn't get to necessarily see their point of view too much that game, but I mean, it really shows through that they were really utilizing that K52 and utilizing their teammates and using Spore as a distraction to follow up and get kills.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly comes of the rest of this here. We do have the counter pick coming in from Hinterländler. It's going to be tower control on Inkblot Art Academy, which might actually, I think I like tower control for them just because that brush isn't able to get set up. It isn't able to sit down. It isn't able to shut down half the map because that tower and that objective is always moving. It's a moving target, and it'll be something that we'll have to see what the response is here for Britain to see if they have some kind of a plan. I mean, obviously, you probably have a plan on this map, right? It's one of the most widely seen maps that we see in competitive play. But nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with here. Maybe we'll see more Splatlings as well, which I expected to see, but of course, we didn't get to see come out from them last map.
Yeah, that was my first thought, actually, was, picking tower control and Inkblot. Not necessarily a good map and mode for an Explosher, so that might be forcing Lux to switch over to a ballpoint, to a Splatling, that they are also well known to play as well. So that might be one of the reasons they counterpick this. And then also that slick that goes up onto the Plaid and the Bats area of Inkblot Art Academy, that might be a big deterrent for the Inkbrush too. But of course, there's also the steps area that the Inkbrush could get up through, but just that little bit of, less mobility and less area for the Inkbrush to move in might be a big factor in this.
All right, folks. It looks like we are having some difficulty getting into the lobby. Apparently, there was a switch overheat. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how you've managed to overheat your Switch within the first 20 minutes of this tournament happening. But one of the players was able to do that, and they dropped out of the lobby before we could actually get into the game. So We'll be getting these players in a lobby as quick as possible. Apologies for the delays this morning, but hopefully we'll be getting underway and getting to things quickly here.
I've played with a few people whose Switch will just, overheat all of a sudden, and they have to. I've heard someone having to go get ice packs to put around their Switch. Someone had to go get a fan to put right on their Switch to make it so it doesn't overheat. I've heard it all. I've heard it.
Heard it all. To give you a brief overview real quick, while we've got a little bit of moment, we are seeing some winners round 1 matches come in. A lot of these are 3-0s from the usual suspects. Kings 3-0 over Wisps. Xylophone Global 3-0 over Healthy Diet Food Groups. The Root takes a DQ victory over Sleeping Seals. Believe they had to drop this morning. Starburst 3-0 over Unlimited Will Be United, and Ice Cube 3-0 over OFBO. Of course, you can type ! bracket to follow along. There are so many good matches today. Of course, you're only going to be seeing one of these round 1 matches and one for each of these rounds. But with the German stream happening, we hope you can tune in there as well. And then I'm sure a lot of other players are streaming their own perspective. So follow along with the bracket, see what matches you find that are interesting, and stay tuned to us while also going around to shop around for some of these other matches, because it is going to be one heck of a day for competitive Splatoon.
It really is. Literally, like we're talking about the Avengers Endgame happening today for Splatoon. And I mean, when we were looking at the bracket before this, and it's just like, wow, there's so many matches that are so good that could be streamed. It's really difficult to, hone in and picking what we want to put on the stream. So, so many good matches happening today and right now.
I mean, if we wanted to, if we were trying to cast every match that we genuinely wanted to cast, we'd be here for 12 hours today. And unfortunately, nobody wants to be sitting here for 12 hours. We've got players that are staying up late in Japan. We've got players that are going to be going to bed, going to work tomorrow in Europe. So all of these sorts of things to consider, and hopefully we'll be able to bring enough action to you all. But it does look like we're able to hop into this one now. Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy. It's Britain Deluxe Edition up 1-0. This is the Hinterländler counter pick as they're looking for a way in and a way around this brush. And of course, we see a splat link come out here. It's Lex on the Nautilus, opting for that much more mobile option.
And then one other switch up, I believe, I don't remember for sure, Phoenix I'm seeing on the Kens 52, which I'm used to seeing them on Nautilus, so that's something that's a little bit different for me to see. Starting out here, one member does go down on the side of Hinterländler, but 2 down now on the side of Britain, so the map is completely purple right now. Hinterländler's doing a really good job at taking mid, making sure they focus this brush right now. I love that the 3 of those players grouped up to make sure that Spore was taken out. That way they can start safely pushing the tower and getting to this first checkpoint.
It's all about that squid advantage, and it will convert into this first checkpoint here, as now we're starting to see them try to put a little bit more pressure on, but the Incomer is coming out a little bit late. They're not able to get ahead of this tower so far, and now it'll be a 2-down situation. Toyobin forced to jump off of the tower. Spore comes diving on top of it and is going to go get taken down in the process. Good first checkpoint cleared, and that'll be a pain point to get out of the way early here for Hinterländler.
Now, Britain Deluxe Edition taking the tower. We see Cool Dude on that NZAP starting to ride the tower. Unfortunately, does get called out, though, while they were riding the tower right now, with it essentially being a 3v3. We see specials, that Booyah Bomb, this Inkjet coming out from Britain Deluxe as they're trying to start pushing the tower. Shuko, though, sharking right now, is able to shark and get Cool Dude off of the tower. But with 2 members down on both teams right now, the tower's just kind of stalled out in this position.
I want to call out how important that Inkjet was. That additional range you're getting from that Inkjet, able to disrupt activities around that tower. Otherwise, that trade would have meant practically nothing for Britain Deluxe Edition. They would have had another player hop on that tower and immediately start pushing, but they know if they did that, they'd get picked off by that Inkjet. So that ability to put pressure, even if it only got 1 pick overall, was something that allowed this to hold right now for Hinterländler. And now they're taking, looks like they're going to go 2 down here, and we'll see another opportunity from Britain Deluxe Edition. We'll see if they can get their specials back online here to continue making this push go forward.
Hakimi here using that Booyah Bomb to help Spore be able to push into the other team's bats. I love the way they paired the Booyah Bomb with Spore on the Ink Rush being able to push up. And you see Spore there acting as a distraction there, but does get called out. The tower, though, so close in points right now. 59 to 56. Hinterländler does have 2 down. It's only a few points here for Britain Dulux to take the lead, and they do just that as they are at the second checkpoint now and able to clear it.
Bit of a scramble all around that tower, but all the meanwhile, Britain Deluxe Edition is continuing to push this one on forward. You see Spore all the way up here. What are you doing? All the way in front of here, forcing another member to come pay attention. All the meanwhile, this tower is continuing to truck on forward. There is no purple ink around this tower, and Britain Deluxe Edition is looking to try to take this game, and they will. That Booyah Bomb will not go off in time in order to allow them to find the knockout. Britain Deluxe Edition going up 2-0.
I felt like in the beginning of that Hinterländler, we got to see it a few times. They were pairing up really well to be able to take down Spore. I feel like Spore was the big distraction in the first game that we got to watch on stream. This time, though, they were in the beginning of this match doing such a good job at pairing up and making sure they were all calling out where the brush was. Unfortunately, though, it felt like a light switch. Unfortunately for Hinterländler, a light switch turned on for Britain Deluxe Edition, and then all of a sudden in the middle of that match, they were just able to completely storm that tower and just be able to completely KO.
Yeah, so a little bit unfortunate there, but, Spore getting in that, position with that baller is something, uniquely an Ink Rush can do, right? The second that baller goes off, that Ink Rush still has so many short-range options to try to dissuade anyone else from coming in. And in this very short-range shooter meta that we're seeing, especially where a lot of the, enemy team, we're talking about Kensa 52s, we're talking about maybe K-shots that you're going up against, you're going to be able to find creative ways around some of these sorts of situations. If you are that brush and opting that distraction where you're taking out one, and then you're also causing a distraction for someone else on the enemy team where they're no longer paying attention to the objective to try to get that brush out of there. That's one of the keys here for Spore, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Did a fantastic job there in the last part of this game. Now, it does look like some of our players have left the lobby because I thought it was a best of 3, but we are playing best of 5s this morning, so hopefully we'll be able to get them back in here. But yeah, nonetheless here, props for Britain Deluxe Edition. They are showing just how strong of a team they are, and perhaps, they're kind of put in an unfortunate pool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really showing, and I love that the adaptation for Lux to, like I was talking about a little bit before this started, X-Blow, as Lux played X-Blow in the first match that we got to watch on stream, able to adapt to this counter pick and able to switch to the Nautilus instead of the X-Blow, which wouldn't necessarily be as good of a weapon for tower control. Inkblot, that lack of mobility for tower control in particular. I love the switch up, the adaptation. Of course, they do have a big weapon pool, so able to do that. And then, of course, looking at Cool Dude on the end zap, able to just make sure that they ride the tower for their teammates, make sure that they get armor and play objective. That way, their teammates can just completely do everything around the tower and get the picks they need, use their specials, and play off of each other.
Yeah. Absolutely. So again, folks, we are getting these members back into the lobby. Going to take another quick look at the brackets. See, One Hit Wonders. One Hit Wonders is a team that I thought could have gone pretty far as well. It's very reminiscent of like a Polar Knight, alongside some of the members that have been grinding in +2, +1 for the European scene. So they 3-0'd Axel this morning already. Unfortunately, they play Starburst next, so we'll see if they can put up a fight there. All the meanwhile, FT Win takes the 3-0 over Mictlan Heroes. 4 tickets to victory, please. Takes a victory over Cascade Duck Crew. Jackpot 3-0's Knights of the Roundy Table, and Grape Juice 3-0's Tatakai. So a lot of 3-0s coming in early in the day, but of course, as we continue moving forward, things are only going to keep heating up.
Yeah, only going to keep heating up, and it looks like our lobby that we are watching here on stream has finally filled up. Counterpick is in, so we will be going back to tower control for Game 3, and this time it'll be on Manta Maria.
Manta Maria is definitely going to be an interesting one. I think there are ways where you can try to limit where this brush wants to go, right? Because obviously Spore's trying to dive in, Spore's trying to cause distractions, be on the other side of the map, be in your spawn, be everywhere, right? That's exactly what Spore's trying to do, but all the meanwhile, right, on a map like Manta Maria, it's going to take a long time for Spore to get in that position. So maybe if Hinterländler can try to intercept Spore before he gets set up in a lot of these cases, they might have a little bit more success in trying to limit that, but only time will tell exactly what comes of this. Of course, you all had your Twitch predictions earlier. 68% of you said Hinterländler. How confident you feeling in that, chat? We'll have to see if they can take the reverse sweep here.
Looking at this counter pick too, one of the main things that came to my head is Storm, who plays ballpoint. So, you know, this, of course, is a great map for ballpoint, able to use that middle ramp to use the ballpoint to get picks, to just act as a nuisance. So I could see that being a big factor in this being Hinterlander's counter pick too.
That will be the case. Ballpoints on either side of the map. Lux opting for the vanilla, looking for that inkjet, and then Storm opting for the Inkstorm. Classic there. But nonetheless, we're seeing the rest of these play very similar weapons to what we've seen. Actually, 3 shooters on the side of the map for Hinterländler. We'll have to see what comes of this. As now Lux is going to be able to pick off one on Phoenix. Juco is about to go down, or looked like they were about to go down. There we go. That Booyah Bomb was thrown right at their feet. And now it's already Britain, who has the momentum here in mid. Might be trying to do a little bit of something. But Phoenix actually on the respawn, able to catch out one of these members, catch out Spore jumping in here as well. And unfortunately, with a little bit of a sloppy start here, Britain's not going to be able to get much of anything. And Hinterländler might have the opportunity to make the first convincing push.
Yeah, Hinterländler here starting the tower to the first checkpoint. We saw Phoenix there start pushing the tower. Looks like they are waiting for their teammates to come in a little bit more so that way they can get set up, actually start pushing the tower, have a game plan for getting past this first checkpoint. We see Phoenix here sharking the bunker area with Storm on the ballpoint. Unfortunately, their end zap does go down as Phoenix also tries to push up to past the bunker area and does get called out. So Britain Deluxe Edition is doing a really good job at coming back in here and making sure that they defend the tower.
Yeah, really like the game plan from Hinterländler, trying to build up a little bit more map control, trying to see where your opponents are coming in from. But of course, the more time you take, the more time you're also giving your opponents to get set up, figure out where you are, figure out where your locations are around this tower. And that's exactly what Britain Deluxe Edition was able to take advantage of. Oh no, Lux going down to the suction bomb is going to be a big deal when we're talking about the long-range presence here and the amount of ink that they're able to output around this tower. Looks like it's going to be the first checkpoint is cleared here for Britain Deluxe Edition. We'll have to see if they can get much more of this. A trade happening on this side of the map as now we take a look at where this tower might be coming in from. Spore trying to dive in, trying to open up this window of opportunity for the rest of the team to come on board. But with just fewer members left alive right now for Britain Deluxe Edition, it will be delayed. They're starting to come on in here as Kbot's going to jump off the tower, try to be a little bit more aggressive. Now Lux up the Inkjet, looking for this 1v1 onto Phoenix. It's not going to get it as Phoenix jumps away. Actually is able to find one off the back of that super jump. Well done play there. Is going to get traded in the process. Though meanwhile, this is a very slow and steady push for Britain Deluxe Edition. They're not completely getting wiped right now. Large thanks to Spore trying to find these windows of opportunity to open up here, and now finally ganged up on by the members of Hinterländler as this tower resets back to neutral.
Tower resetting back to neutral, but Britain Deluxe Edition is right here. Lux getting 2 picks right now as they start pushing the tower, and Cool Dude takes the tower once again. One thing I really like that Britain Deluxe Edition is doing is they're just, even if they have one member down, they make sure that they stall out the tower, wait for their teammates to come in, and then start pushing it again. We can see them doing exactly that. Inkjet, Baller, and Armor coming out as they get to the second checkpoint and are able to get past this second checkpoint, able to just continue pushing the tower as 2 members of Hinterländler are down.
Spore going down here, but that might not be that big of a deal right now. Now 2 members going down for Deluxe Edition. Cool Dude going down on top of the towers. Lux was in position to try to get down from above, but unfortunately not able to find any more picks. Britain Deluxe Edition will stop at 14, which is absolutely massive for them, giving them 2 complete checkpoints to defend themselves against whatever Hinterländler can come up with in the next 90 seconds.
So Hinterländer here is going to start trying to get a push in. We see missiles come out from Shuko as they are riding the tower. Looks like they're trying to figure out where they need to set up right now. Where do they need to go to start getting in a position to push the tower? But I love that for Britain, they're just kind of sitting back, holding this top right area, holding their street, and not necessarily approaching Hinterländer too much. They're really letting Hinterländer come into them as they know that they have the lead right now and they're set up for defense.
Well, meanwhile, Kudu going down on that zap could be huge. Now, Spore going down here as well will open up the map even more for Hinterländer. Lux getting an Inkjet pick on the other side of the map, though, and no one's currently on tower for Hinterländer. They're not pushing this one forward. They're not using their advantage right now, and now Toyoban has to come back, grab this tower, and start pushing it forward. But it's going to mean that there are going to be just a few more seconds for these members of Britain Deluxe Edition to try to respawn and come back in here. We'll see exactly where they decide to take up their position, because remember, they've got 2 full checkpoints to deal with. So what? They gave away that first checkpoint. All they've got to do is hold it perhaps here, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see in just a little bit. That armor is almost online for them, and Lex is in position to try to make sure that they don't get down to this third checkpoint. Puyo Bomb coming out here, trying to clear out some of these members. Two-down situation right now for Hinterländer, and the green ink is just coming all around this tower. Spore and this baller playing very conservatively, playing right next to the tower, ready to jump down from bunker on top of this tower. Will get traded away, but with members of Britain Deluxe Edition on the tower, they are going to take the game and take the set, knocking Hinterländer down to the loser's bracket.
Man, it seemed like as soon as Britain Deluxe Edition recognized that they had this huge lead, they had the advantage, and they didn't need to push into mid anymore. They really knew that they could let Hinterländer ride the tower up, but they didn't necessarily need to push into the tower. They just let them come to them. They set up their walls of defense, and it played out really well for them.
Did play incredibly well for them. And again, with such an early look at this team, I'm really excited to see just how far they're able to continue pushing this, because they might be one of these surprise teams that start sneaking the top 12, top 8. But once they get knocked down to losers, do not count these folks out. So well done and impressive play to them. Of course, Hinterländer, an incredibly strong team, just unfortunately didn't quite have the same level of coordination, didn't have quite the same level of game plan that Britain Deluxe Edition had coming into this one.
Ooh, man, I'm so interested who we get to see next. I mean, we started out with such like amazing teams already in game 1 that we got to watch on stream. So I, for one, am so excited for what we get to watch next on stream, and then also the whole rest of the day on stream. It's going to be so good.
Actually interesting to see that they spend about the same amount of time on the tower between the two teams, of course. Or actually, Britain Deluxe Edition spent less time on the tower, as a matter of fact, than Hinterländer. They just weren't fully able to get all of the wheels turning to make a successful push coming through. So again, we'll have to see what Hinterländer can do. Do not count that team out either. They get sent down to losers, but of course I imagine they'll probably pick up at least 1, if not 2, moving on forward to try to chug along in the rest of this tournament, and should be exciting to see where they end up. Meanwhile, let's take a look at some of the rest of the results that have come in. Looks like all of Winners Round 1 is completed. So I'll read off a few of those for you here. Max Morning takes the 3-1 over Cherry Limeade, which means we're going to be seeing Max Morning versus Grape Juice up next on stream. That'll be a good one to take a look at and watch.